Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I have my overnight highs up here, overnight lows down here. We're in this overnight range. These are our key levels. So starting off, we have this downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Now with this right here, the first area that to look for a trade would be right here, because this is the second attempt lower for this downtrend. And so basically how it is, we have this downtrend break, first attempt lower, and then during that first attempt lower, we kind of form this congestion right here. Then we get this breakout. Most breakouts fail. Now we were making a double top with this over here, so it was like making this double top. We have this resistance down here. Now you could have clearly gotten a scalp out of it, but there's just no room for a good risk to reward trade. Let me show you if you entered on the full target here, look how far you'd have to push that out. And so this, you have this downtrend break. I'd like to enter on the second attempt at a new low, but ideally the EMA would have held for both attempts higher here. So, both corrections higher here. So it'd be like downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. It would be really nice if the EMA was holding, but it just broke straight through. And then there was no room. So you really couldn't enter that. If you could enter with a limit order, that would be good, but you just wouldn't get filled on this with a limit order. So it's a good looking entry, but you need room. You need a limit order. You can't enter that there, unfortunately. And then extending this over, we had this first breakout, and then we have this second breakout, and then on the pullback, so we have this breakout, pullback. So let me go over more context really quick. Downtrend, break, 2 attempts at a new low. You're either going to make the new low or 2 attempts generally before reversing. So after the second attempt here, we push higher, and then we have this first attempt to reverse higher. And then this entry was on the second attempt to reverse higher here. So after we have those 2 attempts lower, we're already having the 2 attempts higher here. And so it's a breakout pullback. Now I usually don't like breakout pullbacks alone, but we have good context here. And the context is we're forming this bullish imbalance. We couldn't reach the overnight low, early bounce here, made this double bottom, and then another higher low here, and it's closing above the EMA on a breakout pullback. It's really good context, and yeah, that's why generally with breakout pullbacks, they're not as good entries. They're not my favorite entries, but if you have good context, you can absolutely take them, and you were clearly forming some bullish, some sort of bullish momentum here, and yeah, so it's important when price can't reach the overnight low, that's forming a bearish imbalance, and when it can't reach the overnight high, that's forming a bearish imbalance, and if it can't reach the low, it's forming a bullish imbalance. Excuse me, I messed that up. So and I just wanted to get out at the measured move here. I didn't want to push it past the measured move. So because even though it can't get to the lows, we don't know for sure it's going to go all the way to the highs. So I just played it safe, got out at the measured move. I got more than 1-to-1. But and then this area right here, this whole area right here was during a news item, so it was extremely fast and choppy and untradeable. So I kind of just sat out through this whole area right here. But even though it was really choppy, the price action still held. I can draw this measured move here. It's clearly a first leg down, break, second leg down right there. Just thought I'd point that out. So even during the news events, which I generally like trading news, except it was just way too fast to trade. I like trading the news when it's a little bit faster and you can get, larger trades. But, it was just way too choppy and fast. I just couldn't trade any of this. So I stayed out of all this. We pushed lower here. We had this first leg down, break. Now we're having this second leg down. So I have this measured move drawn, as we can see here. Now we're pushing lower. We get this 2-legged correction. We don't reach the EMA, so I don't like that. We keep pushing lower. We just get these small corrections. Finally, we get these 2 legs up here. So it's 2 legs retesting the overnight lows. We push into it a little bit, but then we do push lower. Now, it's really just this 1 leg up here, so I don't like going short here. Now, this leg up here eventually will be, on a bigger picture, 1 attempt, and then we get a break, and this would be seen as a second attempt. So notice how these 2 smaller legs make this 1 bigger leg, and then the same thing here. We have these 2 legs, which forms 1 bigger leg. And I liked this because it was clearly rejecting the overnight low, and we had this measured move in play. So when you have a measured move in play, price will try to reach it, and so I really liked it how it was rejecting the overnight low here, and then the entry was so small you can get 1 to 2 on this, even though it's not a massive picture entry. It's a pretty small picture entry. You still get 1 to 2 because you have room down to those lows there. So I like that. I didn't want to go long here because we did just have a breakout pullback of the overnight low that was clearly pretty successful with a measured move in play. So I didn't like how these bars were rejecting the EMA. We didn't get any entry above the EMA here. We push higher here. We get this correction. We don't reach the EMA. Another correction. Don't reach the EMA. And then we get this correction. Then you're closing way the hell up here. So did not like that. Uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, but you're already way into those highs there. So that's not, if you got an entry way down here, that would have been good just to get out at these highs, but you're just closing too high up. You're already forming a range by the time you get that entry. So you're in this range right here. I don't think going short here is a good idea either because it's not off of anything. You're not even retesting this swing up here. You're just, you're just bouncing in the middle of nowhere basically. So there's no reason to actually take this trade. And that's such a small triple top and then such a bullish move right here. It's just not good to immediately go short after that. But we do push lower and then we get this lower high. But it did, that was right after a fade where we got all the way to the highs of this channel here, or the highs of this range right here. So I didn't like that. It's just a breakout pullback. I don't really, there's really just no entry here. I wish this range line right here actually held better, and then maybe some kind of trend line here, but there's really just no entry here. It's just too risky. Yeah, I really wish the EMA had held better here. We could have gotten something. Also, a failed second entry in this area would have been great, but it was a little bit too bullish and not enough reason to go short. So we push lower here, we break out of the overnight low again, and then that leads to this loss right here. Basically, we had a bearish imbalance forming. We had this early bounce here, and then this second early bounce here. That's a very clear bearish imbalance. And so I should have been careful about going long after this move down, which I'll explain, because we had a sharp move down and then a break in one leg to a new low. And also, not to mention, it barely wasn't off of the measured move here. So I was kind of thinking, we just reached this measured move, so I was a little bit more risky with this first entry, but I failed to recognize that, we did only have one leg to a new low. We made a new low, but considering how bearish this was, I should have waited on the second leg, and also I should have waited for it to actually reach the measured move here. I think I had it drawn a little bit, a couple ticks too high, but when I got it right off of it, it actually didn't even reach it by a couple ticks. But the main thing is it was just one drop lower, and then it was a downtrend break, one attempt at a new low, and then it was already kind of getting choppy. So then after that second attempt at a new low, we have this bigger STT right here. I waited for it to close above the EMA because it did break through that overnight low. It was clearly rejecting it once we were closing all the way back up here, but it was, we did have a bearish imbalance. It has been going down all day, and I was buying a low, so I just really wanted it to be above the EMA because it's not nearly as high probability if it's below the EMA with a bearish imbalance. So that's just something to remember. If you have a bearish imbalance and you want to go long, you can still go long with a bearish imbalance. Of course, it depends on how extreme it is, and there's different variables, but you can generally still go long in an imbalance, in a bearish imbalance, but you need the EMA, you need price to be good with the EMA. So anyway, we push higher here, we start going congestive, and we're not reaching the EMA, and then we push higher, and then this is really one very bullish leg up right after reaching a major measured move. So I would not want to go short after basically just one leg up. If you go to a higher time frame, this will just look like one very sharp few bars up, and then and it's basically like counter trend trading. It's just you just reached a major level. You can really expect a fade here. So even though you're off the overnight lows here as a retest, it's really just one leg up on a big picture. It's not good enough. And then it looks like you get 1-to-1, and you do, but that doesn't mean it's going to work next time. I would really want to see it rushing below the EMA and reconfirming the bearish imbalance, because these measured moves really are important. They do really just reverse straight from these areas. So I would want more confirmation by the downtrend resuming here, not just shorting as soon as it reaches a major level. But we go into this uptrend here. So we have this uptrend, break, new high, and then we have these two legs down here, which forms this one leg down, and then this break, second leg down. Now, there wasn't anything I liked in here. It got extremely choppy. It was very hard to trade during this time. And I was considering something over here, but then it closed above the EMA combined with being choppy right here, so I didn't even like this short here. But yeah, we had these two legs down. It tried to make a breakout pullback of this range. We couldn't reach it. We just kept going down. I didn't see anything I liked in here. We just pushed down here, and then this trade right here, I did not get. I was away from keyboard, but basically this, when we pushed down here, this reconfirmed the bearish imbalance. We basically have a triple top right here. Of course, it's not quite a triple top, but we turn down in the same general area every time here. And then, so yeah, that's a bearish imbalance. And then I want to talk about this short right here. I believe I saw someone take this today in the site. Now, I don't really like this trade, because even though we have this bearish imbalance, we did just break out of the overnight low, which means we could fade, and then we rush above with very bullish bar, and then we're holding above, and then we get a couple bars stacked, and then we're clearly just rejecting that overnight low. And so I didn't like this first entry short right here. It's just it's just a breakout pullback, first entry short, shorting low. So I didn't like that. I wanted a break of this. And then we had this downtrend break, and then first entry short, second entry short. I'm not just counting the wicks, I'm counting these bodies here. So first entry short, second entry short. And now, unlike over here where it just went straight back into the overnight low, this time it rejected it both times. So first attempt rejected, second attempt completely rejected, never closed above a single time. And then we even ticked higher, clearly trapped everyone out right there with a very bearish bar. And then I like it for 1-to-1 because it's not a massive picture entry. It's not like a big picture entry. It's really just a second entry short, with the trend, with the bias, and of course with the bearish imbalance. But this time it's actually really rejecting the overnight low here, unlike this time where it's going back in. I wouldn't be surprised if the next time you get this entry, it just ticks lower, makes a second leg up. See how there's one leg up here, and then here there's two legs up? It's just a much more clearer entry right here. But unfortunately, I did not get that. And then here we just rushed back above. Looks like it has STT. It's just a huge spike up. I don't like that. At this point, if it didn't take off from there, I would just want more confirmation here, something like a lower high. But it really just gets congestive right here. And so it looks like we could have another channel forming. This looks pretty clear. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, a lot of this happened while I was making the video. So yeah, we're in this downtrend. Looks like we have a break. We could make a new low. We have an imbalance for it. We'll see if there's anything up here. So yeah, these lows are fitting pretty well with that. So these highs, those lows, bigger downtrend in play. So yeah, that's probably going to do it for this video. Yeah, and there was something I was going to say. What was I going to say? I was thinking about saying it before I started the video, and I was going to say it yesterday, and I forgot, and now I'm forgetting again, so maybe I'll remember tomorrow. Anyway, that's going to be it, and y'all have a good day. Thank you.